Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been gone for a little while, just been a little busy, but I wanted to come back and make a quick video as National Signing Day is approaching us here. I believe it's, the 4th or the 6th? I think it's the 6th of next week. It's always that first Wednesday of February. How do I think we're going to finish up with this class? Well, again, this is another situation similar to how the early signing period ended. We were in position to potentially make the biggest jump at the end of the early signing period. We had a lot of big name guys on the table, and we're in a similar situation now. We have a lot of big name guys that are somewhat considering us. Number one, the guy we surely hope to get, Darnell Wright. He's a guy Tennessee's been kind of the leader for him, or thought to be the leader for him, for a long time now, and I don't think much has changed there. The only thing is West Virginia is really making a push for him now that Troy Brown is in there and as the head coach of West Virginia since the other guy left. And they're making a big push for him. I believe sometime this week, actually, the entire staff went down there to visit the guy. They had 10 coaches go visit him at his high school. They're making a big, strong push for him. Of course, they're the in-state team, which is always something you have to kind of be weary of. But fortunately, we do get the final visit for him. He's going to visit us this weekend, and I think having that last visit right before the signing day is very huge. And we all know that official visits to Knoxville always go very well. It's a beautiful campus, beautiful facilities. Everything is top-notch. The coaches are all very personal, all great recruiters, so having everyone there is going to be great. Meeting with the players is going to be great. They're all great recruiters themselves. And I think that we're going to end up locking this guy down, but I think it is going to be a close race. And definitely a guy that we hope to bring in, but I think ultimately we do land Darnell Wright. And then moving on to Henry T., another guy that we really hope to land. Big-time four-star linebacker. Definitely a guy that has potential to come in here and start year one. Can do it all for it. Can cover, can hit, can run sideline to sideline, can get off blocks, can do it all. Great leader, great guy, great kid. I mean, just top-notch recruit all the way around, across the board. Once Bama lost their D coordinator, which was Henry T's primary recruiter, a lot of people were kind of thinking, hey, Tennessee's where he's going to end up going. But now I'm hearing some grumblings that it's looking like it may be between Bama and Washington now. That's kind of the two leaders, with most people thinking he'll end up at Bama anyway. And I mean, of course, Bama's Bama. You never can count them out. Top-notch facilities, top-notch program, top-notch head ball coach Nick Saban. And then they did just get a visit from him. I believe this past weekend he visited up there, and from what I heard, the visit could not have gone any better. So things were kind of looking down for him, but I still think we found a way to get him in. I think that Pruitt and his bunch have sold this guy on the, number one, the potential to come in here and play early, which is something Bama probably can't offer him. And, number two, we're trying to build something here. And I think that's something that's been a common theme for this class is, hey, this is the class that's going to rebuild Tennessee. And I think everyone that we brought in has potential to really contribute to that rebuild, whether they're a 3-star guy or a 4-star guy or a 5-star guy. They all have that same chip on their shoulder. They all have that same mentality that they want to go out there and dominate. They expect to go out there and dominate. They expect to be the best. And I think that's huge, and it's definitely a personality trait that I see in Henry T as well. And hopefully he meshes with that. Of course, having Kevin Simon, who went to De La Salle, same high school as Henry T, is huge, having that kind of connection there. And I just think we find a way to get the guy in. I think that'd be our big win of the day, is getting Henry T to sign with us on February the 6th. So I think we do get Henry T. And then probably the next big target, it's kind of a long shot, but I think we're definitely in the running for it, is George Pickens. Big-time 5-star receiver. I think we can get him. He's committed to Auburn right now, but Tennessee's up there. We're actually going to get a visit from him, which is huge news. He's going to visit us this weekend as well, which is huge. Getting that last visit is always huge. So hopefully we can pull him in. I believe it was between Georgia and Auburn as to kind of where a lot of people thought he would go. And this was, of course, before Jim Chaney came to Tennessee. So I think if you look at it, he was interested in Georgia. Jim Chaney was their OC, he must like what Jim Chaney does offensively. So having him at Tennessee gives us another boost. And so hopefully when we get him on campus this weekend, we can pull him. But he'd be a huge get for this class. I would compare that to as big of a get as Crouch was. I think Crouch was a guy that could have went anywhere. Really, no one knew where he wanted to go. He had everywhere open to him, and ends up going to Tennessee. Pickens, I think, would kind of rival that as just a pure recruiting get. No inside connections, no nothing. It was just, hey, our staff went out there and we recruited this kid and he committed to us. That'd be a huge get for us if we could land Pickens. Definitely a guy that'll come in and probably play a lot as a true freshman if we can land him. The issue with him is his grades. A lot of people don't think he'll qualify this year, and he'll end up being a JUCO guy, but I think he's a guy that, you do everything you can to get him on campus, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Hopefully we get him. Really don't know about him. I think he'll probably end up going to Auburn, but definitely a guy that we're in the running for, so he's one to keep an eye on. And then Chris Russell, 3-star linebacker. I think he's an underrated guy. I think he can come in here and play for us as well. Strong physical guy, can run sideline to sideline, very athletic, and definitely a guy that I would love to have on board as well. And I think it's going to really come down to how do we feel about Henry T. If we think that we're going to get him, then maybe we don't push so hard for Russell. But if we feel like Henry T is going to commit elsewhere, we really go all in on Russell and we're trying to get him to commit. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. But definitely a guy that I would love to have on board as well. Potentially a gem for this class. And then moving on, there's a few kind of 3-star guys. Forgot some of their names. One of them is Jamie Robinson. He's a safety from Georgia. Looks like a prototypical nickel to me. He's about 5'11", 195, something like that. Kind of got a thick build to him. Likes to come in and hit and lay some wood. Definitely a guy that we'll love to have on board as well. I think he has a tremendous upside as well. And his recruiting's kind of picked up of late. He's gotten some big offers lately. So will definitely be a steal if we can get him as well. And from what I'm hearing, he's kind of up in the air, could really go any which way. But I think Tennessee's definitely in contention for him. And I think really ultimately his recruitment or his kind of whether or not he ends up with us or not is getting predicated on if some of those bigger name guys fall off the board, like Henry T and Pickens and those guys. So we can't get those guys, then we go for some of these 3-star guys. And there's another 3-star receiver. Forget his name. He's from Louisiana. Watched his film. Definitely has some quick twitch about him. He's more of a slot receiver type guy. He's probably like maybe 6 feet, 170 pounds, something like that, but can definitely run and is very athletic. I think that he'll be a good addition to this class as well. And he likes Tennessee a lot from what I've heard. And then there's this 4-star guy. I forget his name as well, but he plays quarterback. He plays quarterback in high school, but he's really athletic. Obviously, would probably project as a receiver, the next level. That's what we're recruiting him as. And he's a guy that, if you look at the quarterback position, I always say this: if you want to find the best hands on the team, go take a look in that quarterback room. Go watch those quarterbacks. I'm telling you, they have the best hands on the team, bar none, every single time, because they're in the shotgun, they're taking those snaps from 3, 4, 5 yards away all day, every day, and their hands just become elite. Their hand-eye coordination becomes elite. So they always do well at receiver. If you look at Juwan Jennings, he was a high school quarterback, and look at him now. So I think he's a guy that could definitely be a steal. I'd love to add him to this class as well. He'll come in and play as a freshman and be a huge contributor as well. We'd love to get him. Forget his name. I'm going to try to find these guys and add their names and put links to their highlights below, just so you guys can see who I'm talking about here. Probably put it in the comment section later on today. But big name guys that I would love to get on board. But I mean that's really it. And then Charles Moore, a 4-star D tackle, or he's actually a strong side D end, about 6'4", 265, and did very well at the Under Armour All-American game. I think he's not committed to anybody right now. I believe he's from Mississippi, and I believe Mississippi State is leading for him right now. I believe it's Mississippi State and Auburn are his top 2. But Tennessee is definitely a school that he's interested in, and he's been really showing some interest in us as of late. and another potential steal that we could get, kind of a long shot, but definitely potential there for us to kind of woo him and bring him on board. But that's really about it. I mean, we have 21 commits right now. Ladarius Cox being one, and then Anthony Harris, 4-star safety, being another one. Cox is a guy a lot of people don't think will commit to us. He's been leaning elsewhere. And I think part of that has been the staff has kind of suggested to him to look elsewhere. And that's just kind of me speculating. And that's from watching his film. I'm not very impressed with him. So I really don't know if he's going to be a part of this class or not. But that's kind of to be determined. And then, finally, Anthony Harris, a guy who's another guy who has great issues, and he's a grades guy. A lot of people think he's going to blue shirt. So he may not even qualify for this class. I'm not sure. Don't want to put that on the kid. I'm sure he has the ability to finish strong and qualify. But people are also saying that North Carolina, which is his home state, is might be where he's leaning as well. So it kind of leaves us with 19 commits, potential to add 6 more on signing day if we want to bring in a full class of 25 for 2019. So, I think we have potential to add Wright, to add Henry T, and then maybe miss out on some other big name guys like Chris Russell and George Pickens and Charles Moore and those guys, but maybe add a guy like Jamie Robinson, 3-star safety, maybe that 3-star receiver I was talking about, maybe we add him. But I think it's going to be a good class overall, and I think this class really has a lot of guys that have that same mentality, that just want to go out there and compete and want to win and just have that hunger. I think most of them are underrated too. And I'm not just saying that because they're Tennessee guys, but I mean, look at some of these 3-star guys, some of these 4-star guys. You just look at these guys, go watch their film, and I mean, these guys can play. You're gonna sit here and tell me a guy like Aaron Beasley is really a 3-star guy? This is a guy that I fully expect to come in here and be a huge contributor for us year one, regardless of what position he decides to play, whether he decides he wants to play receiver or running back, linebacker, safety. He could come in and contribute at any of those positions, and he's a 3-star guy. I don't get it. A guy like Roman Harrison, who was a 3-star until recently, he just got bumped up to a 4-star. Another guy that I think has all the tools to come in here and be elite, come in here and contribute year one. You look at a guy like Tice Fields, another guy. I think he has the same quality. He's going to be elite for us. I think we have some very good recruits in this class. Pruitt and his bunch are great talent evaluators. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. If Pruitt offers a guy, I have full confidence in his ability to play ball, and I have full confidence that Pruitt and his bunch have done enough vetting and interviewing of this guy to get a good read on his psyche, and what makes him tick, and kind of his whole persona and everything about the guy, to determine, hey, he's a guy that can come in here and can help change a program. And that's huge, man. I think that this whole class is going to be great for us. Sky's the limit for this class. I think it's going to be a very foundational class for us. And I expect them to really do some big things going forward. But, I mean, that's my take on it, man. I think we finished up pretty decent recruiting. Have the potential to make a big jump, but, of course, may not make a huge jump. Really just kind of depends on how these guys can close it out, man. But I'm excited about it, man. Can't wait for February 6th to see what it all looks like, man. If you guys have any other information or any news, any questions, or any comments, comment below, man. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about it and suggestions and things like that. But yeah, man, as always, thanks for watching, and hey, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new.